G'day Brendan, you're one of the instructors at Military Cadets and you're the OC of the Caloundra unit. Can you tell us a bit about your background and how you got involved with Military Cadets?
Yeah, sure. Look, I was a combat engineer for 15 years. I spent predominantly most of my time between Townsville and Sydney, a bit in Brisbane. I've had 2 operational deployments to East Timor and Bougainville, and probably another operational one, which is the Sydney Olympics, which is with Gyru, which is now IRR. I've been involved with cadet programs since about 2009. I left the Army in 2004, and I just went along to see if my kids would be into it, and they were, so I got involved, and I've been doing cadet programs ever since.
Great. And how do you think Military Cadets has helped you as an ex-service in our community?
Look, I think that anyone that leaves the Defence Force or has some form of operational deployment or had some issues over a long period of service will miss that camaraderie, will need and feel that want to be around like-minded people. So I guess for me, it's having that mateship again outside of my civilian workforce. Cities just don't get it really, where you can sledge and carry on with your ex-army mates or ex-Navy, Air Force, whatever it may be, and have a bit of fun about it. But more importantly, it's probably the opportunity to pass on your skills that have laid dormant for so long. And you've been trained, highly trained in the professional military, so to be able to pass that on to the next generation of kids in whatever career path they choose to do, it doesn't really matter. But those inherent skills that you're taught in the ADF are gold, and it's very satisfying to see kids that I write a reference for or whatever go on to get their first job, whether it's flipping burgers at Macca's or whether they join the police force or in fact join the Defence Force. So it's job satisfaction free of charge. It's awesome.
Great. So what advice would you give someone who might be watching this video and considering becoming an instructor in the Military Cadets?
Look, you've got a wealth of knowledge, you've got a wealth of skills, and they are relevant. You may not feel that when you get out. Now, I've been out of the Army for a decade, and the first 2 or 3 years I was out of the Army, I was lost in the wilderness. But to come across an organisation and realise that those skills that were drilled into you for such a long period of time are still relevant and can be passed on to kids, that's probably the most important thing. So what I would tell other potential instructors is get onto the website, have a look at a location that suits you and rock up. Rock up and meet the guys and girls on a Friday night, see if it's for you, have a bit of a suss around and check it out, and if you don't get sledged out the door, then I think you will enjoy it regardless. It's fantastic, and just remember your skills are relevant.
So there's a bit of banter goes on between the instructors. What would you say about that?
Look, we all know that the Royal Australian Engineers is the best corps in the military, so when you have other corps like infantry, artillery, some Navy people and some RAF people, it's quite good, and the banter and sledging go on forever and ever. But then again, we all know that engineers will ultimately win that argument each time. So that's a bit of a taste of, I guess, what you're in for. But more importantly, that's done behind the scenes in a more of a social environment. And what I like about it is the opportunity to teach kids, relatively current doctrine, which they're playing on a computer game. I've got 3 boys myself, and to get them off Xbox playing Call of Duty or Battlefield, and to get them into the cadets and go out and do this for real, they certainly realise that there's a lot more to running around the bush in a simulated war game than what there is. They've got the environmental issues, they've got the snakes and the spiders and the cold, and the 5 kilometre pack march and all these sorts of things that kids don't realise when they're playing the computer games. I did a survey in my unit, and 70% of the kids had dropped their computer use. So that was a fantastic outcome, And certainly from the parents, the pats on the back we get from the parents. We've got kids with ADHD, Asperger's, a whole bunch of things. So to see them progress through the program, and we don't give up on it. We're not like another program where we'll kick them out the door and say it's too hard and stick with them. So that's really good job satisfaction.
Great. Well, thank you, Brendan. Cheers.
No worries.